Hello, BookTube. It's Angie from Angie Rose Nomad. Welcome back to the channel. How are you doing since I've last seen you? I hope you are doing marvelous and have had a great weekend. Happy Super Bowl Sunday, you guys. I would be in my Patriots gear, which I am not, but I'm very superstitious when it comes to wearing my gear before the game. 3 days specifically before the game and onward, I can't wear it or they'll lose. I can wear it on Sunday, which I'm pre-filming this video, so that's why it's not on. But go Patriots, go. Hashtag unpopular opinions. I'm actually bringing to you guys my January wrap-up and kind of February TBR. So, December time, I posted a January TBR. That did not go well at all. The actual books that I picked up from that list are Jacoby and The First Conspiracy. Out of all of those books, these are the only two that I have picked up. So that's why I say kind of February TBR. We will talk about that after I get to the books that I have read in January. So I'm going to try and make this as quick as I can. So I read 8 books in the month of January and I DNF'd 1. I think it was a pretty good reading month for me. So the first book in the month of January was one that I listened to, and it was The Wife Between Us by Greer Hendricks and another author. Check there. I gave it 3 stars. I thought it was okay. I saw the various twists coming, except the one at the very, very end. So I wasn't really surprised and wouldn't really put it on my top thrillers of all time or anything like that. The next book was a book that I buddy read with Catherine from Jane Catherine on Books and Carrie Ann from Woman vs. Books. And it is this gem of a book right here. The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. If you have been around my channel for a moment, you will know that I mean every sarcasm when I say this gem of a book. I did not get on with this book at all. I gave it 3 stars. And I had a lot to say about it. I did have a great time buddy reading it with these 2 fantastic women. I cannot thank them enough for inviting me to participate in that, but this was not the book for me, you guys. I feel like everyone has talked about this book, so I'm going to give it a brief summary. This book follows the story of a woman named Evelyn Hugo, who was a movie star back in the 50s and 60s, and she is talking to this reporter about her 7 husbands and what her life was like back then. She has given this story to an up-and-coming reporter, which a lot of people are surprised about. They think that she should have given it to someone bigger, but she is insistent on having this reporter tell her story, and we will find out why later on in the book. I had a lot of problems with this book. However, I felt that there is an LGBTQIA plus element in this book, and I felt like it was put in this book just to have that element in this book. They did mention the Stonewall riots in New York, and I feel like they could have gone more in depth about that. I don't think it dealt with the issue of abortion or miscarriages well. I felt that it was very insensitive about major issues like things like that. And I found the character of Evelyn to be extremely problematic and unlikable, in my opinion. She was... I think there's a difference between ambition and power, and the author went over her being ambitious to her just wanting all the power. There's a line in here that I think it said something along the lines of she wanted to possess people's minds, or maybe that's what I got out of it. I wrote it on a sticky though, and I think that's true. She wanted people to be under her control, and I didn't like that at all. I wish that she could have had a true friendship with someone rather than having it turn into a marriage or a relationship of some sort. A friendship is a really great way to see someone's character because there's really no ulterior motive. You just genuinely like the other person and want to spend time with them. That's it. Whereas if you're in a romantic relationship, there are different levels of expectations on the table. And just, in my opinion, her not having a true friendship in this book without it being something else kind of spoke to how selfish she is. So we hear all about her needs and her wants and her relationships. But then at the very end of the book, she went to tell this reporter that she wanted the world to know it was all about family for her. And I felt that it was a little too late. The theme of family was not present until the last couple of pages, and it just came out of left field in my opinion. But that is just my opinion. I know that it is an extremely popular book on BookTube. I can see why a lot of people enjoy it. It just wasn't for me. And I feel like I would have enjoyed it a little bit better if it were perhaps written by two authors, or like Catherine or Carrie Ann suggested, having the chapters from the husband's point of view. I think that that would have been better. The next book is The One. This is by John Mars. I gave it 3 stars. This is all about how a dating service has come to the forefront, and almost everyone is on this service. It's called Match Your DNA, and what they do is you send them a sample of your DNA and they find your perfect match. And it is following all these different couples and the results and ramifications of them having taken the Match Your DNA quiz. And there's also some crazy messed up storylines. There's a serial killer in one of the perspectives, and he has actually been matched with a police officer, so that's fun times. Overall, I just thought this was an okay read. I felt like it did have a little too many perspectives for me to get on with. I was interested in the story, but I kind of found myself flipping a little bit, and I didn't really like that part. So then I finished The Little Shop of Found Things by Paula Braxton. This is a gem of a book. I loved this book. I gave it 4.5 stars. I docked it a half a point because I needed more to the story, and then I went on Goodreads and found out that there is a second installment in this series coming out. I don't know if it's going to follow Santa or not. I have talked about this book. I've talked about all of these books, so you can go back to previous videos to check them out. And yeah, I thought it was brilliantly written. This is about a girl named Santa who, her and her mother own an antique shop. She goes back in the past to help right a wrong. And in the past, she's actually in the same town that she is in the present day. And she gets to see this great manor hall, meet a couple of interesting characters, possibly fall in love. One of the things that I really admired about this book was I kind of hesitate sometimes on historical fiction. I've been better about picking it up recently. But one of the things that makes me worry is that in some historical fictions, you can only see one perspective, or I'm not phrasing this right. You don't really see the liberal perspective of how people thought at that time. It's usually more conservative, more reserved. This book actually had a great liberal point of view on certain issues, so I really enjoyed seeing that, because back then it was dangerous to think that way, so a lot of people didn't openly voice their opinion in fear of being jailed or killed. And I really liked seeing that, hey, there were people thinking like this, they were just too afraid to admit it, kind of thing. Really recommend this book. Thought it was great. Okay, so the last couple of books here I did just mention in my Friday Reads video, so I'm going to go through them really quickly. Another Woman's Husband by Jill Paul, 3 out of 5 stars. Meh, okay. An Unwanted Guest by Sherry LaPina, 4 stars. Good, but predictable. Still Life by Louise Penny, 4.5 out of 5 stars. Freaking amazing. Love, 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 love. And then the last one is The First Conspiracy. I gave this a 4. I really enjoyed it. This is about how, espionage and counter-espionage were set up at the beginning of the Revolutionary War. And then at the tail end of the book, we get to see a little bit about how it carried over. The reason I gave it 4 out of 5, I know this is an uncorrected proof. There were still grammar errors, not like spelling or commas out of place, but grammar errors. But I know it's uncorrected. Sorry. I had to mention that. But also because I would have liked to have seen more about the war going on. I think we have in this book probably that is focused on the same month. Same 2 months. And I just would have enjoyed seeing how all of this was put into play. So maybe have the conspiracy, half of the book, and then having how it was put into play the other half of the book. I know the book is called The First Conspiracy. I get it. But it just led to so many great things. Like, I didn't know that George Washington had his own counterintelligence crew that was called the Culper Ring, I think. I think so. I know I tabbed it. But anyway, it wasn't written down. Yes, the Culper Ring. It wasn't written down in a lot of places. And Americans didn't find out about the Culper Ring until the 1930s. That's how good and secretive they were in their mission. So I felt like rather than just giving that a sentence, it could have maybe gotten its own chapter. But I really recommend this book. It was really, really good. And then the book that I had to DNF is Jacobi by William Ritter. What I read from this book, it was fine. It wasn't the book's fault. It was just my fault, I think. This follows the story of a detective and his new assistant, and they're trying to solve this murder. And I think the problem I had with it was that it was paranormal and mystery. And mystery is such a close genre to my heart. Paranormal is not. So I think if I read a paranormal book, it needs to not have that mystery element in it because it's just not fun for me. I heard a lot of people talk about Stephen King's The Outsiders and how it was fantastic the first half. Then the second half it went paranormal. And I was so going to read it. And then I heard that and I said, nope. And I think that's the case with this book as well. I'm going to be finding this book a good new home. Alright, so let's do the wrap up. I am getting rid of this book. And then out of the 8 books, I actually owned 4 of them. I thought I was doing worse. I thought I read more library books than books I owned, but it's right down the middle, so we're good. So let's talk about the fate of the 4 books that I have in my hands here. This is going to go. It's going to find a home that will love it and appreciate it more than I did. I have to keep this one. I am still on the fence with this guy here. I really, really enjoyed it. I just don't know if I'm going to reread it. It was just too much of the same month in one book. I didn't have anything against the writing, and I thought the story was very compelling, but it was a lot of the same events going on. So I don't know. I'm going to set it out for tonight, and I'll look at it and reevaluate it in the morning. And then obviously I have to keep this book. I just have to. It was just so freaking good, and I can't wait to read the second one. So now we're actually going to do my kind of TBR for February. I did mention some books that I'm going to be reading in February in my Friday reads. They are the books that I have currently checked out from the library. Let's not tell anyone that. The first one is 1 in a Million by Lindsay Kelk. Then we have The Kind Worth Killing by Peter Swanson. The Library Book by Susan Orlin. And then my buddy read book, which is The Lavender Garden by Lucinda Riley. There is a strong possibility that I have 2 other books currently checked out from the library right now. And it is Red Clocks by Lenny Zumas, as well as the second book in the Armand Gamache detective series, A Fatal Grace by Louise Penny. However, those ones, along with this guy, I can check out 2 more times, so I might not get to those 3 until March. But I have been putting out videos of my most anticipated 5-star reads, my arcs that I need to get to, and then I'm also going to be releasing a read it or get rid of it video very, very soon, so check the space for that. I think it's going up Wednesday, if I'm correct. So I wanted to go ahead and pick those books for you. Right now, I am going to pick 1 out of each category for the month of February. Once I get rid of some of these library books, I'm going to bump it up to 2, especially in anticipated 5-star reads, because I have 24. And then with the video that I have not filmed, the read or get rid of video, I'm just going to randomly pick a book after I film it, and yeah, we'll go from there. So, we're opening up the phone, and we're going to a random number generator. Now, in my anticipated 5-star reads video, I had 24 books, so we're at Google, And Google is going to go 1 to 24, and we are generating a random number. I got 6. You guys, I got 6. Ooh, bright. Alright, so now I'm going back to my list, and I'm going to find the 6th book. 5-star prediction. The 6th book is The Alienist. Okay. Kind of a little nervous. So the 6th book is The Alienist by Caleb Carr, and it says the year is 1896. The city is New York. Newspaper reporter John Schuyler Moore is summoned by his friend Dr. Laszlo Kressler, a psychologist or alienist, to view the horribly mutilated body of an adolescent boy abandoned on the unfinished Williamsburg Bridge. From there, the two embark on a revolutionary effort in criminology, creating a psychological profile of the perpetrator based on the details of his crimes. Their dangerous quest takes them into the torrid past and twisted mind of a murderer who will kill again before their hunt is over. So I'm really excited to read that one. It was made into a TV series that I have been wanting to watch, but I wanted to read the book first, so now's the time. Alright, now we're going back to the random number generator, and for my arcs, I think I have 15. I have 14. So these are all books that I got sent about 2 years ago. Most of them I did win in giveaways and then just never picked them up, like the case with Evelyn Hugo there. Yeah. We're going to fix that, though. We're going to fix it. So I'm going 1 through 14, and my number is 12. So let's see what I got for 12. Back to the list. Ooh, I'm so excited. For number 12, I got Those Girls by Chevy Stevens. I really don't want to know much about Those Girls. I know it follows the story of 3 sisters. That's where I want to leave it. I have heard great things about it. Like, pick up this book. It's fantastic. And I really don't want to know much more about this thriller, but I'm excited. So I was kind of nervous about The Alienist, but I'm super pumped to read Those Girls, and I will pick one more from my read or get rid of pile. When I film that video, I'll just put them all in a jar and pick one out. Okay, so we're going to try this, and we're going to see if this TBR will go better than January's TBR did, where I didn't really read much of that TBR at all. So, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you've liked it, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to become part of the tribe. Let me know what you are reading down in the comments below. If you are reading any of these books or want to buddy read, hit me up. Let's do it. I will see you in my next video. Bye.